All right. All right, so right here on Lightroom, when you open it up, you should get this page right here, which is going to be your library. So this is going to be your library tab. This is where you guys are going to import it at. So from your library tab, you go all the way down here to your left-hand corner, bottom left-hand, put import. And it's going to show up with a bunch of files that's ready to be imported. And then just pick where yours is going to be at. Mine will be in my on the desktop. So you just check the one that you want. So I got this one checked. So I just put unchecked also. I don't put in all my pictures in. So I just check that one that I want. Go down here to import. When you import it, it'll drop in. And then you should see that picture pop up. And then from here, you don't really have to do anything other in the library tab other than importing. So you just go to develop up here. So that'll be the next tab over. And that'll start you with doing all your color correcting and all that. Let me know if you guys want me to slow down or if I'm moving too fast or something, or you guys want me to hold up.
I'm doing it on the mobile one, so it'll take me a little while to like find what it is.
All right.
Same.
Now, Andrew, it's gonna show differently on a Mac and on your computer, right?
It should be all the same.
It's
Mac,
the same. I have a
yeah.
Mac.
Mac, it should be the same, almost exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know when you guys are ready, and you guys are on this develop tab right here.
So we wouldn't see it on the phone app. Develop.
I am not sure on the phone app. You know what? I don't even have the phone app. I don't know exactly how it'll show up on the phone app.
Okay.
Yeah, the phone app is not gonna show up like that. Cause I have the phone app too, and it's a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
It has everything at the bottom, and like everything you can do, it's all
Yeah.
across the bottom. So I think as long as you're not going super fast in what you're trying to do, I think we could follow what it is.
All right. Yeah, because this is the main thing that I want to show you guys, is the develop tab. On the phone app, I don't know if it'll show develop, but you'll see all this right here where it's able to change everything. This will be the same on the phone. So you'll be able to go through all your presets right here on the left-hand side, all these presets that you can change, or you could do it through it manually, and I go through it all manually right here. And once you learn all these things, I mean, it's the same on all the other editing apps. So like when I'm editing on my phone, I use like Snapseed. I know that my wife, she uses Snapseed and VSCO. And I know that there's like some other apps, but they all work the same. So they all have all these different ways that you can edit right here. All right, so yeah, if you guys want to just go ahead and we can just get started on this part. So the first tab right here, I mean, the first thing that you're going to look at is right up here. This is going to be your histogram. Your histogram tells you about how much information is on that picture that you have. You see where it's really low right here in the middle, and it's really high on the bottom parts, really high on this part. So all this bottom part is going to be all the shadows, all this shadows that's right here. So you want all this to eventually be level. This high part is going to be all the highlights that are right here. It just means the really bright spots. So you just want this to be level. As long as this is not through the roof, you still have information in this picture that is retained. We went over this on the last discussing about like the basics about camera photography, and that's something that I can go over with you guys again. Like Myron and Caesar, I know you guys weren't able to see it, or Jose, I don't think that you were in it last time either, right? But if you guys want, we can go through like a whole nother session through it again. You guys can learn about like different types of pictures. So the picture that I had you guys download is a raw picture. So you got a JPEG picture and a raw picture. A JPEG picture wouldn't have any of this information that's all right here. It wouldn't even have anything on the histogram. It would probably just be flat. So when you're shooting in RAW, it's a bigger file, but it helps you with a lot more information. So you're able to bring out, so like this picture is like super dark, or not super dark, but it's really dark. But because I shot it in RAW, I wasn't worried about it, and I knew that I'd be able to bring it out through editing. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. So I mean, like with the softwares, you have this crop. This is the only thing that I use on this bar right here is I use the crop. Once you hover your mouse over it, you'll see the crop. Right here, you see a spot removal. Spot removal helps you take out blemishes and people's skin, and it's really easy to use. Take out pimples, take out moles, different things like that. And cropping, everybody knows what crop is. So then you have this right here. You have the color and the white. So you can do black and white. Click on it, and it automatically goes to black and white, and we can adjust everything in black and white. Go back to color. Everything's just the way that it was before. Right below it, it has as shot, which is your white balance. Your white balance is going to tell you how warm the picture is or how cool the picture is. So it's either going to make the picture a lot more bluish when it's cool, or it's going to make it a lot more orange or reddish when it's warm, or probably orange. So I mean, what did I have on here? So what I have right here, I just left it the same that it was because I like the color temperature of it. It's not too blue, it's not too orange. Her skin tone's not really bright. And I mean, all this, it all applies to all the pictures. So this is why I'm just showing you guys with the wedding picture, because it's like pretty easy for me to show you guys. But you can do it with any picture that you guys want. All this applies to any type of picture, landscape picture, portrait pictures. So I just kept the color temperatures the same. I kept the tint as 2, so you guys don't have to do anything with this. Down here you have the tone and auto. You can click on auto, and it'll automatically set all your exposures, contrast, all of this. It'll set automatically. But I don't like using auto because how it sets, it's okay. But I know that I can do a little bit better than that. So I'm just gonna go back to how it was before. I use a lot of hotkeys too. So if you guys press the auto, you can either come up here, go to edit and put redo, or I use a hotkey where I press Control and Z at the same time. And that'll just go back to the way that it was. It just goes back one step. So right here you have the exposure. Exposure is going to make the picture brighter or darker for you. So of course I want this a lot more brighter. So I put the exposure up, and I put it all the way up to about 175.
To 175, you said?
Yeah,
1.75? Okay.
Yeah, so I put my exposure pretty high. I'm going to show you guys how to take out this highlight, because when you put it up this high, this highlight really comes out, and you lose all that information that's right there. What I also put right here is contrast. Your contrast kind of brings in the darks a little bit, kind of punches in this red a little bit more too. So this, I don't move it that much, so your contrast will come down a little bit. I put it at about 7, -7. So that just punches in the red just a little bit more, brings in the darks just a little tiny bit, because I don't want everything, just completely bright. So this is the main one that I use right here is your highlights. Your highlights is going to come when you're overexposed, when you're really overexposed, right, like this, and it's really bright. This highlight I bring down quite a bit, and you'll see it where it kind of brings in that part in the where the curtain's at, and it still keeps a little bit of detail. And I don't want it all the way because it kind of looks a little bit weird, so I keep it about halfway. I think right here I have it about 40, I can put it down just a little bit more. I'll probably keep it halfway, right halfway at 50. And 50 is not too bad. But you also got to remember when you do your highlights, it's also going to affect your skin tones. So you can see right here, she has a lot of highlight right here that's on her shoulder. When I bring that highlight up, it's really going to overexpose her shoulder right here.
Thank you.
I don't also want to put it all the way down because it makes the skin look unnatural. So I find that right at about halfway, sometimes even a little bit lower at about 60, maybe even 70 is not too bad. But for this picture, we'll keep it at halfway.
Super, thank you. Thanks.
And when you say overexposure as a general term, it just means that it's gonna like it just so much light that it's blending in with the background, right?
Yeah,
Is that what you
overexposure. Yeah, overexposure just means that this part that's really bright. It just means that it's you see like this curtain that's right here. It's evenly exposed. This couch right here is evenly exposed. It's not too bright, not too dark. When all this right here is just way too bright, where you just can't see anything. You see it like this is right here. I have my highlights up all the way. You can't even see anything right here. That's just overexposed. Sometimes you can have a picture like that that's completely overexposed. And if you have a whole picture that's completely overexposed, you can bring down this highlight. And this highlight will bring back some of that information as long as it's not too overexposed.
Okay.
If you have it too overexposed, that's when you'll start to lose information, and then you can't bring some of that information back.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So with the highlights, this can also bring out, you can see maybe like on her face, on her arms, a little bit down here where that ornament is at. I want some of that shadow to be brought in just a little bit more. So I brought that in. So that's going to be your next one. You can see where the shadow is bringing up. So I can put that up. Halfway just looks a little bit too much. I bring that down just a little tiny bit. So I'll keep probably right about at 40. I still want a little bit more of that shadow. I don't want to bring it up all the way because if you bring it up really high, again, it's going to have this overexposed. She's going to be super bright. So I found right about a little bit under halfway. I put it about 40. 40 is not too bad. So that's going to be with your shadows. The next thing is going to be your whites. Whites is just going to bring all your whites out just a little tiny bit. And it's not like a highlight. A highlight is kind of like an overall with everything, an overall with the picture. So the whites is just going to bring out the white parts out. And I want the white parts out only because of her dress. And that's what I kind of want because it's still a little bit dark and I can have that out just a little tiny bit more. So I'm just going to bring that up just a little tiny bit. And I'm going to probably put it right about, I can put it up one more, about 15. And you see what I did right here is sometimes when you move that slider bar, it doesn't go to where you want it to. You can just click on it and I use my arrow keys. I just press down, 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 down. Keep it right at 15, press enter. It's right at 15. So I brought out the dress just a little tiny bit more. Next is going to be the blacks. I believe I have the blacks out in just a little bit. The blacks I have out just a little bit. So the blacks I'm kind of using as a shadow. But the shadow, again, is just like the highlights. The shadow is kind of like an overall of all the pictures. The blacks is just of the black parts. So I want the black parts to bring out just a little tiny bit more. I don't want them super black. So I think I'm going to put it about the same, probably about 15. Bring that blacks out just a little tiny bit. So right now we have a pretty good even picture. So with this, I also bring out the clarity. The clarity is also going to affect the skin tone too. I can have this picture just a little tiny bit sharper. If I zoom in, you can see her face is not completely tack sharp, but it's pretty sharp enough. But I can make it just a little tiny bit sharper. I don't know. Can you guys see that line right there? I don't know why that line's showing up. So right here, let's see. I have this clarity up just a little tiny bit. So I have it probably about the same. I have it about 17. I can put it about 17 right there. The more you bring up this clarity, the more it's going to really make it look unnatural. So that's the clarity up all the way. If you're bringing it down, it's going to make the picture what's called bloom. Bloom, it kind of gives it like that really soft glow, and that's not what I want with this picture. So I just want her skin to kind of like be a little bit more crisp, just a little tiny bit more. So I mean, I could keep it up. Yeah, I'll keep it about 17, about right there.
Hey, Andrew.
Yep.
You got less than a minute left on the Zoom.
Yeah, if this thing cuts off in a minute, and just log back into the same.
Same link.
Yeah, same link.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, I believe that it'll go back with everybody on here.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
For the blacks, is there like a? Is it based on? Is there like a certain thing you suggest, like a number or whatever?
No, a lot of this is just based on preference, because I know like a lot of people have different styles. So I know a big style that's in right now is kind of like that hipster boho look. It's like it's a weird type of look that I am not really into. I know Amaris is, and she's trying to get me to edit sometimes like that, but I just can't get the hang of it. It's really hard. To me, I'm just not used to it, because I like these a lot more brighter pictures, especially on a wedding. But you can bring in this black just a little bit more, like bring this black all the way down. And see, it makes it darker. And I know that's kind of what people are a little bit more into right now. So I mean, a lot of it is just on preference. Yeah, yeah. So
Like a
to me,
style.
this is exactly. It'll be more style. This is more my style. Is more of a traditional, brighter picture that I think that looks good. All right, so this clarity right here is yeah, that'll bump it up a little bit, only because I want that skin to come out a little bit more sharper. I also don't mind it, especially with this wedding dress. I really want to show it off, and I don't want it bloomed or have that glowy effect. Also right here, I tend to do this a lot too, as I bump up the vibrance. The vibrance is just going to bump up the vibrance of the colors in the picture. So this wood, it's everything in the picture. So this wood, the gray, especially her skin tones will come out. So you don't want to do it too much. And I want this ottoman to come out just a little bit more to give the picture a little bit more of that color. So I'm going to bump it up a bit. And I am probably going to put it about like 24. I put it up a little more to 25. So it brings out this ottoman a little bit more. Doesn't bring out her skin tones too much. And so because right now she does look a little tiny bit orange, but it's not too bad. So it still looks a little bit natural.
Brother Andrew, quick question.
Yep.
Going back to the light, because I think you're in color right now.
Oh yeah.
But going back to the light, we have this feature that says curve.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's going to be at the bottom.
And so should we mess with that at all? Like that thing, like straight out brings like really light or really dark really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it's easier for you guys can use it. I rarely ever use it. That tone curve, okay. I only do very little on that tone curve. Okay. But if you really want to like do a really fast adjustment, or you want to do a large adjustment, to, if you have way too much brights and you want to bring everything down, yeah, you would adjust the curve.
Is that more of a shortcut feature?
Is it more of a what?
Shortcut feature?
Yeah, it's kind of a shortcut, but you kind of have to know like what exactly you're doing or what exactly you're looking for to be able to do it.
Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
I can show you guys that next.
Andrew.
Yep.
Another question. You said vibrance. It brings out like what kind of objects? Like you said, wood and like inanimate objects, or what did you say it brings out?
Just anything that has color. Anything that has color. Okay, cool. Yep. So without this vibrance, you can see if I bring it all the way down halfway, kind of gives it like that black and white feel, but it still has a bit of color. Yeah. But I don't, if I put it too much, her skin's really orange. Kind of makes it look like a Oompa Loompa. Yeah. And that's not what I want. So I don't bring the vibrance up too much. So I'm going to keep it, let's see, I think I have it right at 25. But because her skin is still a little bit orangish, I'm going to bring the saturation. Saturation, you have to be very careful with. A little bit can go a long ways. A little bit, and it'll really make a lot of the colors pop out. So you can see if I bring it up, I mean, it makes her look completely orange, but it really brings out this red, brings out the gold, brings out the wood a lot. But if you put it all the way down, it almost makes it look like black and white. Saturation is, you have to be very touchy with it. So with this, I only brought it down just a little bit, a tad bit. So I brought it down to about a -5, just to bring down that skin tone a little bit. And but it still keeps that ottoman nice and red.
Clarity's at 17.
Nice.
All right, so I'm going to keep going down right here. So for the most part, we're all done right here. And these are all going to be the same for any of the editing programs I use. All of these are the same on all editing programs. So if you're using, what is that, VSEO or Snapseed or anything like that, they all have the same thing: exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, sharpness, vibrant, saturation, white balance, or color temperature. They all have the exact same things. So going down right here, this is what you asked about before, Jose, is if you do the toning curve. The curve, you can see where kind of like an arrow brings out or brings down. You probably won't see it on your phones, but on your phones you can probably adjust it. So all you do is just grab that curve, and I hold down the my mouse key, and I just bring it down. And you can see it where it comes down. Bring it back up. If I go back up, it'll make it nice and bright. But I'm gonna leave it right at 0. Or you could do.
And again, that's just preference, right?
Yeah, this is all preference. So you can bring it in different parts. So you can have one down here. So this is gonna bring out either your darks go darker or your darks go a little bit brighter. So you can bring the darks brighter, and then you can bring another dot up here and bring your lights lower. But to me, it kind of does like a little bit of an S. But to me, it just looks like really washed out. So I'm just gonna go back. Undo. There you go. So we undo, and it brings everything back to 0. So I believe the only thing that I did was I brought down the highlights again. So this is another highlight feature, a little bit different than this one. This one's this highlight right here. I mean, you can bring it down to that 50, and I mean, it does a really nice job, and it doesn't affect the overall picture too much. But this one down here will. If I bring it back down to like a 50, I mean, it really makes it look washed out. Bring it down to 100, and it looks really bad. I bring it all the way up, and I mean, it completely overexposes everything. And so it's a lot harsher than the other one does. So I only brought this one down just a little tiny bit, only because this highlight is still a little bit too overexposed. So I only brought it down to, I think, about a 15. So I only did it a little bit. And that's all I did here. I could bring out a little bit more of the darks. So this one does have a darks and the shadows. So you'll adjust the blacks and the shadows again. But I didn't really mess with it, only because I thought the lighting was pretty even. When you keep going down, you have this color tool. I rarely ever use a color tool, only if a person's skin is like way too orangish. I'll just bring down that orange. You can see she looks really orange right here. Or I can bring it down, and you can practically make it look black and white. And that'll only affect the orange tone. So you see the ottoman right here is still red. Everything else is kind of like a black and white. So I mean, that's another thing that you can also mess around with. And
I only see tint, vibrance, or saturation. Which one are you messing with?
This is going down. So this is. Are you doing it over the computer or your phone?
On the phone, but like under color.
Yeah, this is gonna be. It's on my computer. It's labeled as a HSL/color. / black and white. And this is on a saturation tab.
Okay.
So you can also change differences right here between hue, saturation, luminance. Hue is going to kind of be like that white balance look. So it's either going to be, you know, super blue or orange. Saturation is just going to go from full color to black and white. And luminance is just going to be kind of be like more of that color. It's not going to make it black and white. So orange is going to be like a bright orange to like a dark orange. So, I mean, if you want to bring out that skin tone just a little tiny bit more, I can technically bring this orange up just a little bit, not too much. I'd probably say maybe about like a 15. And 15 doesn't look too bad. She still doesn't look way too orange. Kind of brings out her skin tone just a little bit more. Maybe I want to bring out that autumn just a little bit more too. I can bring up that red just a little bit more in luminance. And it's only going to affect the red. You see when I bring it up all the way and just makes it a little bit brighter, makes it darker.
Hey, Andrew, is it supposed to be red or is it supposed to be like kind of like a purplish color?
Which one? This color?
Yeah.
I see red, but
I see hot pink.
No,
I see
it's,
blue
You
gold.
already messed around with the little buttons.
the
it's because on the screen sharing, it looks like it's purplish. And then on my screen, when I'm editing it, it looks red. That's why I kept like.
oh, okay. Maybe it's different on my screen. It's yeah,
Black and gold, bro. It's black and gold.
because I have a dual monitor right here, and one of them I use just for editing. The other one comes out brighter, and I know the colors on my other monitors come out different. So I mean, it might look different.
Cause dude, for the like last probably like 5 minutes, I've been trying to get it the same color that you have it on the screen sharing, and
Oh, okay.
I was tripping, but now okay, it's red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can change the color if you want.
We'll leave it like that.
Yeah. I say maybe on the hue, the
Jose.
hue. So that would be like completely purple right there on the hue. So you see this is like completely like purple going all the way to dark to, I don't know, that weird looking color. Maybe
Jose.
bring it out a little bit on the hue. So I mean, I don't mess around a lot with this. That's probably all that I would do. You also have these arrows right here. Once you're done messing with these on the computer, you can kind of close them. Kind of makes a little bit more room. This, since I don't do a lot on the tone curve, just close it doing the arrow. Also, another thing that I didn't even show you guys, if you want to see the difference, if you don't want to keep adjusting like this this tone curve, this highlights, and you don't want to keep adjusting back to 0, back to 15, because a lot of times I'll kind of like go back and forth to see the difference between the two. You could use this button that's right up here. It's a turn off adjustments, and you have one for every tab. So you can turn it off. You'll kind of see the highlight come in just a little bit. You'll see the highlights go back. So you just turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, just to see the quick difference between the two. I can close it. Go back to this one that I did. I could go back on the turning off, turning on. So you can see the difference between the two skin colors that we did, off, on, off, on. I like it. I do that a lot, so I'll just keep turning it off and on, just to see if I like what I did or not. So that's not bad. Split toning, I don't really do anything with. I've never used split toning. This I'll use at times. So this is a noise reduction feature that's in Lightroom and is really good. But if you do it too much, it'll kind of look a little bit unnatural. So if you zoom all the way in, that's about as far as I can zoom in. Noise is going to kind of be all these little specks that you see all over. And it kind of, it just looks like grain. Like if back in the days when you would take film pictures, you would have a grain that would be in the picture. It wouldn't be a completely clear picture. And this is what that is. So a lot of this noise, especially when the picture, how dark it was, when you start bringing out a lot of that detail and adjusting that exposure really high, a lot of this grain will start showing up. Even if I have this, you can see, those of you that remember your ISOs, I have my ISO at 100 and I'm still getting grain. And that was only because of how much detail I brought in from putting that exposure like really high. So this is one way to kind of bring it down. So you have a sharpening detail. I usually leave it at 25. So this luminance right here is right under noise reduction. You have luminance. This luminance, you bring it up at a 25, and you'll start seeing some of that detail start, or some of that grain start going away. Bring it up to a 50, you'll see the skin start smoothing out just a little bit more. But once you start going up to maybe about 100, it really smooths out a lot of that skin. It kind of makes it look like she's just has makeup all over her body. So to me, it kind of looks a little bit unnatural. I usually bring my noise reduction down to or up between 25 and 50. I find 50, anything above a 50 kind of makes it look a little bit natural. Maybe at 25 will probably be a little bit better. I don't mind a little bit of noise, but I want her skin just a little bit more smoother. I don't want too much noise in the picture. So I just bring it down or bring it up just a little bit. And again, you can see the difference between the two by pressing this on and off button. So you press off, you can see that grain. On, you can see it smoothed out. Grain, and then smooth. And done with that tab, because I don't really do anything else with this. I don't really adjust anything here. So I just close it with the arrow. And this will be the last thing that I do before I start going into more detail-oriented stuff. So this right here is going to be your effects. This is the only thing that you can really adjust right here. And this is going to kind of be vignetting. So vignetting, maybe I should zoom out. Your vignetting is either going to go, if you go up, it's going to go white. So it just does white, or you go for a dark. So this is also on preference, how much you want to do. I usually don't do a lot because I don't like a lot like this. It just makes it look, I don't know, it just makes it look edited way too much. If I do a vignette, I'm only going a little bit, maybe 10, maybe 15. The most I've ever done is probably like 25. I mean, we can put a little bit. I don't know if I want to do too much. I'd probably keep it like at a 10, just to keep the corners a little bit dark. Yeah, that's also on preference. I don't think that I did it on my original picture. I think I just kept it at 0. Sometimes even some cameras, they'll automatically put a vignette.
Oh, wow.
So you can even adjust that just like a tiny little bit. So like even at a 2, you can already see the whites coming in. But if your camera put a vignette automatically, this will keep it balanced the whole way through. So this is based on preference. I probably just keep it the same. I don't think this picture needs a vignette because this picture's already kind of dark enough on the sides. So yeah, it's up to you guys. I mean, if you guys want to put it in vignette just to see how it looks, if you guys want to go heavy in it just to make it look different, I mean, that's fine.
It looks scary.
That's about all that I do on a vignette. Other things that you can mess around with is this lens correction. This is a really cool thing in Lightroom, but I hardly ever use it. Some lenses, even if you use a third-party lens and you're not using, like if you're using a Canon, Nikon, and you have a Tamron lens, you have a Sigma lens, you have a third-party lens and it's not made specifically for the Canon or Nikon or Sony, sometimes it'll give you kind of like a bubbling effect or something like that. So you put this lens correction in, and this right here, it says remove chromatic aberrations. And this with chromatic aberration, I don't know if you'll be able to see it in this picture, but sometimes on a really bright picture like this, you'll see around the edges where it'll be like a red, purple type of glow that's around her, and it has to do with the lens. So you can add this, enable profile corrections, and it'll adjust automatically to what it's able to find. So this is another, I mean, I hardly ever use it because I think the picture looks fine just the way that it is. And I mean, you can see the difference between the two, so you can turn it off. That's how it looked before. turn it back on, and it adjusted to the lens. I mean, I guess my my lens did put a vignette around it automatically, so it just takes out that vignette. I mean, we could leave it off and that's another cool thing about shooting in RAW. If you shot in JPEG, all of that information wouldn't be there, so it wouldn't even be able to detect which lens that you're using. So having that information in RAW allows it to detect automatically. If not, you'd be manually putting in what make of the camera that you have, the model lens that you have, the profile that you're going to be using. So on mine, you can see it was where 35mm that I was using. And then you can adjust the distorting and vignetting that you want, if you want to do that automatically. I mean, it does a pretty good job by itself. I think it actually looks pretty cool. I think it actually looks pretty good than before. I mean, yeah, we could leave it like that. So, yeah, that's pretty much all for the picture editing. Before we go more into a little more of the detail, I saw that putting in that lens correction, it still brought in more of that highlight that I think I can bring down just a little bit more. I might bring it down all the way down to 75. And the only reason why I saw it was because I looked straight at my histogram right here. My histogram was all the way up. And when you go over, it shows still more of what's still overexposed, but it's not too much. So that's not bad. But I saw before when it was at 50, this was kind of really high. So yeah, that's all that I do in all my picture editing. And then you can see how it looked before. You have this tab that's way down here. You have a single picture, and then you have a YY. And it kind of does a side by side. So this is what we started off with before, and this is how it looks after.
Nice.
So that's all in the power of using a RAW photo. You wouldn't be able to do this with a JPEG photo. With a JPEG photo, I mean, yeah, we're bringing in this much detail. You might get close, but you wouldn't be able to have it look as crisp and clear as it would in RAW. Yeah. RAW just saves in so much information where it looks way better. I've never been able to do this with a JPEG picture before. So you can also use like some of these buttons, and this will kind of split it in half. No, I think it's this one. Yeah, if you keep clicking it. Oh man, where did my before and after go?
I have a question.
There it is. Yep.
So if I were to get a picture from my phone, it wouldn't have the same options as this photo?
No.
So like a picture I already have on my phone.
Yeah, a picture that you already have on your phone is already set in JPEG form. But I'm looking at the pictures really quick in the settings because I don't remember if you can change it or not. There it is, photos, full HDR, no. I'm trying to check in the camera setting. No. Yeah, it just does it in just normal JPEG.
Okay.
But I mean, with the iPhones now, I mean, they still save in a lot of information. So I mean, even if you wouldn't be able to use it that well on the computer, when you put it into your phone and maybe use Lightroom or Snapseed or VCSO on your phone, it does really good.
Okay.
So yeah, if you You can press this picture or this tab that's right here, and it'll switch between, you know, different layers, up and down.
That looks really good.
So we can go back right here, and I can show you guys how to do a different, you know, these are the other two that I use a lot. So with the crop, I mean, you just press the crop button and it automatically gives you a grid. You can bring it in if you want, bring it out. I think it's framed, you know, just right. I really wouldn't adjust anything, but that's how you would crop the picture on here. You can adjust the angle. You can even have it do it automatically. And I'm not really going to do anything to it, so I'm just going to close it. The one thing that I would do right here is probably a spot removal. Spot removal, I can go in, sometimes I'll see different things like, I really don't see anything on her that I might want to spot remove. Maybe like some like these moles, I wouldn't spot remove, but just to show you guys how, I just press the spot removal tool. It has a clone, or you can put heal. Heal is going to be automatic. And this is going to be the size of your spot removing tool. And it's really big. I wouldn't go that big. So if you guys have a wheel, I can adjust my wheel down. If you guys don't have a wheel, just adjust your size right here and make it a lot smaller. So I can go in pretty small, just click over the mole, and it does it should do the job for you. So it does the job for me and takes that mole away. I could do it with this mole over here. I just click on it, pick something that it picks another part of the picture where it's close by, and it adjusts it to that, takes it away. You could do it right here too on this mole right here. Just click on it, pick something that's close by, takes it away. So I can press close, and you can even tell that those moles are even there. I don't do it much in moles, only because I mean it's kind of like a beauty mark that I keep with a lot of the clients. But some clients, they will have a bit of acne. I know she doesn't, but with acne I would. So if they have like a big, you know, pimple that's right here right in the middle, I just go right over it, click it, and it'll adjust somewhere, and it'll go right to it. With this clone, I believe that you can pick automatic. No, I think this clone, it will do the same if I do it. Yeah, it'll pick someone right there. So even if you have this, the same sizing, the clone and the heel kind of work the same way. The heel is more of it. How would I describe it? A heel just kind of blends it automatically, but a clone is an actual clone. It's kind of like a stamp. Like, say if I were to like kind of like a skin graft. If I were to graft this part of the skin to here, that's what it would go. So sometimes it's kind of noticeable when you do a clone. Sometimes a heel is a lot more better. But if you're doing it either with a heel or a clone, and you don't think the computer did a good job at picking it, and you can still tell, because sometimes you can still tell if there's like a circle around it. You can move it, and there's like a hand that comes over it, and you can move this around. So you can see, even if I go over the hair, it should show it. You can see that circle that's right there. So you can move it around and kind of see where it would be, where you can't tell. So right there, I can't tell anything. So just keep it like that, close it. And I mean, it looks like nothing was even there. Maybe go around. I thought I saw something else right here. No, I don't really see anything. Sometimes I'll go in the background and I'll kind of look through the background to see if there's anything there. I mean, there's a spot right here. I don't know if it's noticeable to anybody that would be looking at it, but sometimes it'll bother me. So I'll just go for a heel. Adjust it just a little tiny bit more. Go right over, and it should pick a place that's just like it. It didn't pick a place just like it. So you can tell the line is a little bit crooked. I'm going to go for a higher part that's close by. Maybe about right there. You can't tell that anything's there. Close it. It doesn't look like anything was there. It just looks like it was part of it all along. So sometimes there'll be like even patches in the walls where you can even like tell, and you can see where even like things on the ground. I've done it with things on the ground where somebody forgot to pick something up, and I'll have to remove it out of the picture. But yeah, so that's with the cloning tool. This one's a red eye. Red eye, I don't really use any of these ones, these gradients. I don't really use anything like that. Another one that I do use a lot is this is a hotkey that I use all the time. And on your keyboard, I don't remember how you would have it come up in the settings, but for those of you that are on your keyboard, just press your K button. And with the K button, it brings down this whole tab that's right here. And it's kind of like a new, it's like a brush feature that's on here. So you press K again and it'll close it. Press K and it opens up a new tab. Press K and it closes it. So one of the things I might show you right here is I'll zoom in on her face. Sometimes, you know, her teeth can be a little bit more brighter. It's probably because it was so dark before. So I'll press K and it has teeth whitening. You can press on this arrow and you can do different things. Has teeth whitening, soften skin, you can go iris enhance, and you can use a brush for any one of these things. So I'll start with the teeth whitening. And with this teeth whitening, you can see kind of like that plus button. If I move my wheel up, that circle will get bigger. If I move the wheel down, it'll get smaller. You can adjust that in the size that's right here. So adjust it to vary the size of the teeth. And I'll just click on my mouse and I'll hold down on my mouse button and I'll kind of just like color it in. I'll color it in, and you can see the teeth just getting brighter and brighter. And they'll stay a certain brightness. You can keep coloring it in and it'll always stay a certain brightness. It's not like it'll keep getting brighter and brighter and brighter. It'll just go to a certain brightness and that's it. You want to see the changes that you made. Here's the on and off button down here. You turn it off, that's how it was before, how it looks after. So the teeth look pretty good. You can go up here and you can even add a new brush. You go to new and it'll start on a new brush so you won't adjust anything on here. So I'll probably maybe go to like an iris enhance. And this one works good with people, you know, that have like green eyes, blue eyes. And probably bring this circle down a little bit more and just color that eye in and it'll bring that eye enhancement just a little bit more. You know, we're just bringing it in. You can see it just brought it in just a little tiny bit, not too much. But her eyes were pretty dark. You can see like the before and after, and just brought it in just a little bit. But it works really good.
What button did you say that was? I couldn't see.
Well, so after I did the teeth, I just pressed a new, and I went down here on the drop down, and I clicked on iris enhance.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, you can play with different things on here. This is a lot for like fine tuning. You say like her shoulder right here, I thought it was way too bright, and I only wanted to deal with the shoulder. I can go for maybe this burn look. So this is a darker look, or I can do a highlights or exposure. I can try the burn. Probably put this a little bit higher. I won't probably not go too crazy. So I'll just kind of color it in a little bit, and you can see where it kind of darkens it just a little bit. So this is when I really want to fine tune things a lot. I think the burn kind of makes it look a little bit unnatural. So you see the before, after. Yeah, it doesn't. That's not too bad. It didn't do too much, so I don't mind. You can even do that with, I mean, the darker parts. You can brighten it up just a little bit more. I just close it. I mean, for the most part, I like the picture the way that it is. I think it looks really good. So the way that you wanna, this is already saved to Lightroom. So even if you were to exit out and close it, once you open up Lightroom again, it'll automatically come with all your saved information. So you just click on the picture either up here or down here. It doesn't matter where. Just click anywhere on the picture. Go down to export, and then you export. And I'll bring this window over here. So this is where you're going to export to. I can choose where I wanted to export. I'll maybe export it to my pictures. Select that folder. It's automatically going to export as a JPEG. Because you already made all your adjustments in RAW, it's all right to save it as a JPEG because you're not going to make any more adjustments. You can add a watermark in here if you want, but I always do that in Photoshop. I mean, that's all that I really do is I just specify which folder I want to do it to, rename it if I want to, and then just click export. And
What's a
that is it.
watermark?
Huh?
What's a watermark?
Watermark is like if you want to have your name, like me, I have Andrew Florian Photography that I put right here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, and even one thing that I didn't even show you guys, because like this picture is around this time when I was shooting with her. A lot of the pictures I had her do different poses, but almost every single picture came out the same way, where it was dark and I needed to edit it. So since I know that I love this edit, I mean, this is probably the end that I would do here. Since I know that I would adjust it pretty much the exact same way with maybe like the rest of the 20, 30 pictures that I had left right there. I just press left click, go to settings, copy settings right here. And it'll bring up, let me see, it'll bring up this this thing right here.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. And make sure that no other people are coming in. I don't know if more people are coming in or not. But yeah, so I would go right here to the settings. The only thing that I wouldn't set to another picture is my crop, because crop I adjust and for every picture or spot removal. Spot removal is just going to be dedicated to each picture. Brushes are only going to be dedicated to each picture. So you don't want to adjust a brush, say like her face was right here, and then the next picture her face is way over here. You're going to have brush adjustments right here, and it's going to look really weird.
Okay.
So, I mean, all this that I just have said is just my highlights, exposure, color adjustments, chromatic aberration, lens distortion, grain. That's it. So I just copy it. And then when you copy it, you go over to your next picture, right click it, settings, and then paste settings. And paste settings, and it'll automatically paste all the settings that you did. And then it'll show up.
So it's kind of like a preset, no?
Yeah. So you kind of use it like as a preset. So that's what I would do with a lot of my pictures, because so I want to have to go through every single one and adjust all these things that I did. Yeah, it just takes up a lot of time. So I mean, that's another way that's really cool about Lightroom, is that I use it that way. I didn't talk about any of these tabs up here. I don't really use any of these. The map is if you have a GPS on your camera or your phone if you're dropping them in, and it'll map out where you took all the pictures. I don't use it. I don't really know what a book is for. I've never gone into it. Slideshow you can adjust pictures for slideshow, but I've never used it. Print, I've never used it either. Web, I don't even know. I don't even know what they even do. The only thing that I ever done in Lightroom was library develop. That's it.
Hey, Kevin, does your screen look like like Andrew's? Dang, why do I keep saying Mark? Bad Andrew, my bad Andrew.
Oh, no problem.
Last
Like
time.
my screen on Lightroom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, how does yours look like?
Dude, mine looks like if it's like on the iPhone. It looks like I got for the most part all the things, but yeah, it looks like I'm on the iPhones.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I don't know if I got a different one or it's probably the same one. I don't know. I'll look into that. But I could do mostly everything. I just like the way that yours is a little bit better.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Andrew, I got some pictures coming for you, bro, and I need to.
I'm ready. I'll be ready, bro.
I need to see what you think about them.
All right.
So yeah.
Yeah, let me know if you guys need any more help on where to go from here. If you guys forgot anything, or hey, where do you go from here again? Because I mean, I didn't show you more so because here you got presets. You can go to your histories that you can do, collections. I mean, some of the stuff I didn't even go over, but this is all the main stuff right here. This is like
The
all the meat.
basics.
Yeah, this is all the meat that you want to learn because this is the same on every single editing software that you'll come across. I just think Lightroom is the easiest.
Hey, I was gonna ask you. So you were saying that like for when you do a whole photo shoot, instead of editing one by one, you'll just like edit one and then kind of like copy those settings to the other pictures.
Yeah. I'll copy all my settings to all the other ones.
Oh, okay. That makes sense why it's faster. I thought it was like one by one or something.
No. So sometimes you can select them all. So you like click on one, and like what I would do is kind of like do like a shift. I'll hold down shift, and then you can maybe there's like a picture way over here, and then click on it, and it'll automatically select all those pictures in a row, and then just click on it right here, and then just go settings. Where's that? I think you have to go up here. Yeah, you're gonna have to go up here and just go settings and paste all the settings, and it'll paste it to every single picture in a row.
That you have clicked.
Yeah, that you have clicked.
Oh.
And sometimes some of them will be a little bit different, so I might have to adjust the exposure just a little tiny bit. I might have to adjust the highlights a little bit, but I mean everything else is already there that I usually do. So I mean,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So when you were saying about Photoshop, so do you mostly do like the edit like fully on Lightroom for yourself?
Yeah, because that's what I
Oh,
was
okay.
telling Isai that I don't use Photoshop a lot for editing because it's too tedious for me. Everything right here on Lightroom, everything's all in one place. Like all this stuff, you have to do it one by one in Photoshop. And then when you're done with the picture, you have to go and save it and then close it and then pick another picture and then open it in Photoshop again and then start all over with that process.
And,
So
oh man, so you can't save it like here.
No,
like
no, it's not. It's not like here where you can go down here and you can start clicking on all the pictures and go through all the settings and everything. It's to me, this is way faster, especially when I'm editing 700 pictures on a wedding.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh wow.
yeah, it just takes a long time.
So when
But
you do
yeah,
the photos, half of the work, I guess you can say, is you making sure you have the right settings on the camera when you're actually taking the pictures, right?
yeah, yep,
That way it's not that hard to edit or something.
yeah. So you want to have like all the settings like the way that you know. I wouldn't say like almost perfect, but I mean, because I knew on here, I mean, from how dark it was, I knew that I wasn't getting it perfect. I just left it like that only because I knew that I didn't have a lot of time shooting that certain thing in or part in the wedding, and I wanted to do as many poses as I could. So I just, kind of hoped and prayed that there would be enough detail for me to bring it back in editing. As long as it wasn't completely black, I kind of already knew. I was like, you know what, I can edit it enough. But once I started dropping it in, I started messing with all the edits. I didn't know that I'd be able to bring it that much. And when I'd be able to bring it that much, I was like, man, good thing I'm shooting in RAW.
Nice.
Good thing I shoot it in RAW because in JPEG, man, that would suck to shoot in JPEG, and it would, to me, it would be an unusable photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So here, all I was thinking was posing, composition, and then just shooting as many different poses that I can do with her, so I can have a lot of different variety. But when I was shooting, all that I was doing was I was just relying on Lightroom to do its job and make these pictures, come out good.
Right. Yeah. Jeez, it looks good though. I was following the session, man. I'm like, wow. When you compare the before and after.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a full picture that I would deliver to a client like that. I wouldn't do anything else. I wouldn't go too crazy. I wouldn't drop it in Photoshop and start removing stuff. You can drop it into Photoshop and like remove this cross thingy that's up here or something like
Ah,
that, or
all
I
little
see,
things.
yeah, I see this thing that's down here. I don't know what it is, but you can go to Photoshop and remove that. You can take out the sunspot that's right here. I mean, you can do a lot of things with Photoshop, but to me, I just wanted to keep it all the same. I just
Yeah.
left it. To me, it's just too much work, especially when you have all those pictures to go through. This picture, I have, her maybe looking down, her having her hands placed in a different way, having her feet up, zooming in just a little bit closer. It's just like there's so many pictures more that I have to do. I can't go through every single one and start photoshopping every single picture. It's just too much work. So this is all that I really do is color correct and I'm done.
Okay.
That's it.
To make it like keep it natural, right?
Yep, yep.